Hello again. Welcome to the evaluation. Um, so by now, I'm guessing you've seen everything. Um, Hope you enjoyed it. You probably haven't seen the film because the film isn't there, and I apologise for that. But yeah, as I mentioned in the diary, it got corrupted. The file. Did I mention that in the diary? I don't know. So we'll save that bit for later. I'm going to run you through now basically the entirety of the project and how I found it and how just I found my time generally going through the um, the FMPs itself. So I think one of the main things I need to learn from this is time management. Time management was a root like generally I'm quite good at it. I tend to give myself enough time to get the film done, do some bit of extras, nicely edit it, and I have evaluation. There's only one time in the past where I left it quite late, but even then I still had enough time afterwards. It was just a little bit more tighter, a little bit more panic. But every other time, I've done it within the time gap that I was given. But this time I left it really late. It was all very last second. It was all very sort of on the spot, which isn't like me and made things really difficult. Um, and that's why, as I mentioned in the diary, is that I feel I could have made this film better if I'd given myself more time. And I'm annoyed that I didn't give myself time because um, it could have been better than it was. It could have been better than it was. It was good. It was at a standard in which I was like, okay, right, I can upload this. I can have it on the site. But I don't know what it is. I feel like the main thing that really put me down was the actual speaking, and not so much as what I was saying, but more of how I sort of laid it out and how it just looked. It just didn't look good. So yeah, that was just really frustrating for me because while editing it, I was like, this isn't great. Um, it's not as good as I feel I've done other things in the past, but it is what it is, and I sort of got to roll with it. There's no one else really to blame other than myself when it comes to the editing. The actual film itself, often itself dying and just disappearing into thin air. It didn't disappear into thin air. I'll explain later, but that's not my fault. That's gonna get sorted, by the way. Hopefully, at some point there will be a documentary on there. I will come back to this later because I'm gonna say something, but I'll speak more on it later. Research and everything was fine. I just sort of didn't give myself enough time to do it. I didn't really, Um, I think that was a really common theme this project that I was very a week behind in everything that I should have been doing. Um, Not necessarily a week, like a full week behind, but there were some points where I was, you know, not at the point I should have been, and I was a little bit behind, and I was catching up, and I did that basically throughout the entire project. I was just playing catch up the entire time, and luckily, I know this probably isn't the right thing to say, but I wasn't the only one who had this issue. A lot of other people were sort of playing catch up as well, and they weren't up to date with everything. But I was just like, okay, look, I've got to roll with how it is, and if this means that I panic at the last second and I stress it out, then that's what I'm gonna have to do. I will just have to stress it out because I did this to myself. There's no one else really to blame besides me because I'm the one who just sort of got distracted and didn't really keep up with things. I'm the one who just sort of like slacked, but that comes with that's one of them things that you do in time. You learn from your lessons. Like, okay, you make this mistake this time. You do it better next time. Um, just yeah, that was really one of the main issues I found with this project in general. Um, research and everything was fine. I quite enjoyed it actually because it was just watching documentaries and just talking about it. Like that's not. I could do that any day of the week, and I feel like anyone could. Um, what else? Yeah, documentary was fine. Um, talking about how it related to my film again, that was sort of just easy, really. It was just talking about what I'd like in the documentaries that I'd watched and what I could apply from it. And again, it just allowed me just to watch things and just sort of break it down, which is something I do generally anyway. I just like doing it. I just like watching things, just going, yeah, I like this, I want to do that. So having to do it for my college project wasn't really a big thing. 'Cause it was just like it was just fun. It was fun to do. It was nice and easy and laid back, and I just sort of went with it as how it was. Gathering ideas wasn't too difficult. There were like for 2 days I was really sort of, you know, ugh, I don't know what ideas because the only thing I could really think of was football or music, and I needed minimum of three, I think it was, but I managed to get four in the end. Um, my mum actually helped me out with that. We sat down in here and were doing mind maps, making mind maps for it. Because again, I was due to me being behind. My head wasn't at the right spot of where it should have been, so I wasn't really thinking much about the mind maps. I was thinking more of the research, which just wasn't helpful at all because then my mum was very like, come on, you should be at the right spot now. You need to pick yourself up and stop slacking and just get it done. Which I didn't do at the end. I should have done, but I didn't. And it's my fault to blame. It's all me. But it's a lesson learned. You know what I mean? You've got to make them mistakes in order to progress next time and do better next time. The mistakes are there to be made. You know, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to do everything 100%. You're always going to have a fault in your way of doing things. So I'm not too bummed out about it because now I know next time not to do this and just actually, even if I'm not 100% up to date, don't drop back as far as I did. Yeah, because that made things really like quite a struggle for me. Just stay reasonably within date. That if I was to just sweat it out in one night, then I know I'd be up to date. Sort of be at that point. Um, to be 100% up to date would be amazing. I doubt I'll ever be at that point though. Um, but yeah, as long as I know I could get to that point within a day of just like pure work, then I know I'd be fine. So yeah, it's just a lesson that needs to be learned. That's all. Again, with the mind maps, just writing the pros and cons of it, that wasn't too difficult. That was sort of just like doing it with the documentary, just saying like what I'd like about it. And if anything, I actually quite liked it doing that. Was at home when I was writing that up, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I don't know why, but it was just like, because it's just stating my opinion really on everything, and that's something I quite like to do. So yeah, it was, and I had a lot to say as well. And obviously when you're reading it, you could probably tell it was very free spoken, if you know what I mean. It was just like I just said what I had to say about it, and I wasn't trying to be too formal or too smart in the way I put it. I just put it in the way I did. I just said it as how I felt I should have said it. So that wasn't really much of a struggle. Again, because that was just sort of like with the documentary thing, just talking about what I like and what I can take from it. Um, except I did more for that one. I did more for the mind map ideas, and a little less just for the documentaries because I feel I had more to say about coming up with an idea or a project rather than just talking about documentary, if that makes sense. Um, Finalizing ideas was a bit of a struggle because I didn't know which one to choose, and as I mentioned in the diaries, I was very back and forth with between music and football. I didn't know which one really to go for. I was massively struggling because I really like the idea of doing both of them, but I would have preferred to have done football on the spot like just going, yeah, I'm gonna do football, but I was a lot like there were people saying to me, go with music because then it's diversity, it's different to what you've done before, it's something new. I was like, yeah, okay, but I think the main thing that influenced me not to go with music is that there were other people in the class who were doing music. That I was just like, okay, right, I don't want to do the same thing. And I know there was someone in my class who did football as well. He did the Invincible season for the Arsenal, but I don't know. With that, it's very specific, if that makes sense. It was very like, okay, Invincible seasons, whereas with mine, it's what does football mean to you? That's very vague in a good way. Like, there's a lot there to talk about. Whereas Invincibles is just like, it's one topic. It's like if I was to go on about Liverpool, if I just chose Liverpool, then again, it's just one topic. Okay, there's things within it, but it's just like there's not as much freedom as if you just did an overall sort of subject, such as what does football mean to you. And then again with music, he did a documentary on, I think it's one of his rappers, a rapper that he listens to, um, in which I was like, this is probably me. This is probably something what I do. Um, for my music. And the thing is, as well, I've really done a music documentary, which for me wasn't really a massive thing. I think that was more my mum just saying, like, I've done it before, don't do it again, change it up. But I don't think she realised I had a music documentary done before. But yeah, I felt football was appropriate, really, because I had stuff to talk about. I knew that I could interview someone. I really wanted to go to London as well, to go to like different pitches, because it just would have been a trip. It would have been nice as well, which is what we did in the end. Um, you got some really nice clips of the Emirates Stadium. We went to Shoreditch football, like the Power League place there, a place I've wanted to go for a long time. I've been there once, but I've really wanted to go back, and I loved it. It's I don't know why, but it's just a really nice like football. Like there's loads of different Astros there. I think there's like 7 different pitches sort of lined up. There's like 5 on one side and then there's 2 on another side, or it might be 8. I don't know, but there's a lot there, and it's just like it's a really nice environment. It's very like you get very good street football vibes from it because it is sort of just like slap next to a tunnel. Above you, you've got a train going over. It's just a really nice place to be, and the environment and everything. I just thought, okay, like if I was to do football, this would be somewhere I'd really want to go and show off. And that's where I did the interview. Oh, I forgot his name. I think it's Luke. I think it's Luke. Yeah, I did an interview with him, asked the name, what team you support, how long you've been following them, and then what does football mean to you? And I wasn't expecting much of a response that he gave me, but he actually gave me a really good, like, in detail response. I was like, this is amazing. Like, I did not expect this. And then we went to record someone else. I think his name was Ben, something like that. But as we were recording, we had one of the people who worked at Powerly come up to us and go, "You can't record here," and I was really quite bummed out about it because I think it's private, filming and stuff on the property, and yeah, it was like a whole like law thing to go into it. And he was like, "I could talk to my manager, but there's no like it's a very slim chance you get to record." So we were like, "Yes, please, can you talk to him and see?" Because just for a college project, like he's not going to go anywhere. Like it wasn't going online or anything. It was literally just going to go on our website, and that was it. And we explained it to him, and he said, "Mate, if it was my rules, I'd accept it, but unfortunately it's not, but I'll speak anyway." He spoke, we got told no. Um, and I don't think they realised that we already had footage because they were like, don't use and get rid of the footage that you've taken, like from just then, because he said, after we stopped recording, he was like, can you get rid of this footage, like the one just here? I'm like, yeah, okay. And then he was like, okay, well, you can't use that footage, blah, blah, blah. So just don't, don't post it anywhere. But we got lucky in the sense that I don't think he saw us film the other people. But again, like I'm not really going against any rules. It's just sort of like I'm just having it on my site there, which it's not even on the site at the moment because the thing corrupted, the file corrupted. Again, I'll go into this in a later time. But yeah, football just seemed like the right idea to go for rather than music. Just I was more confident for going in it and just like talking about it and filming stuff related to it. Um, Mood board, it's just a mood board really, isn't it? Just getting some pictures that you feel like could link to. That was a nice, like, I did that probably about 30 minutes. So it wasn't a long task. It was quite easy. The proposal wasn't. Have I talked? I've talked about the proposal, I think already, because I'm on the wrong week now. Shot list. Again, this was something I really like. I'd already had the majority of the shots, so I was just sort of writing what I wanted in the first place. So yeah, I did basically not cheat it, but like I already had the clips that I wanted. I just wrote about it after I'd taken them. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, shot list wasn't difficult. It was just like in the first place, it was the idea of coming up with the ideas of what to record. But then after recording it, and then I actually wrote it, I was like, okay, right, I've got the ideas now. But yeah, I did like a small, not like kind of demo-ish version of what it would look like for a script, the shot list, and it didn't look great. It wasn't a lot there. Um, that's why I mentioned in the diary like it was quite a struggle for me because I can't plan ahead like that. I'm a very like on the spot person. Um, so it was just yeah, it didn't really. It did, but didn't work out. It worked out after I'd taken the footage because I was like, okay, yeah, this is actually what I wanted, and it really sort of worked out. So I just sort of wrote up after um, what I'd done. And the script as well was sort of like the same thing. I just did it really quite on the spot, most of it. Like I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it in the way that I wanted to, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but I had a very like set idea, but it was just finding the way to say it that I struggled with, and I didn't know in particular what to say. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I could have done a bit better with that. Um, I wouldn't have even had to write out an entire script, but if I just written why am I holding scissors? If I was just writing out certain points, I feel like I would have been able to wing it easier because I would have had bases to go off by. Like now, for example, I've written down like all the different things that I sort of feel when I did it right or I didn't do right within the documentary. I'm just building off like talking about it. Um, yeah, just scripts and storyboard itself wasn't really like my biggest points, and it never really has been. Like even in the past, with other projects, and even before college, like back in school, because I took drama for GCSE, and when we were writing scripts and stuff, it wasn't, just didn't work. It just didn't work with me. It just wasn't something I was good at. Um, Filming again wasn't really difficult. It was a bit of stress, like trying to get the right amount of clips, and I feel like some of the clips that I wanted, I didn't actually get. Um, so I was just, I don't know, I was happy with what I had, but I felt I needed more, and then it turned out that I was missing the main, like, actual piece for it, of me actually talking and documenting, like, what I wanted to say. Um, and that goes back again to the script. Like, if I'd had a script there, I probably would have done that first, but where I didn't, I was just like, don't know what to say, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of did it all on the spot, basically. Again, I knew what I wanted to say, I just didn't know how to say it, and that was a real big struggle for me. But yeah, filming wasn't really hard. It was like, again, I sort of knew what I wanted. And then when we went to London again, I wanted to get loads of different clips of different football pitches, and I didn't really get many because the thing is, I was worried about them not allowing us. Hence why I didn't. I got a few clips here and there, but it wasn't really the right amount, I felt. Um, Editing and evaluating. Uh, well, editing, as I mentioned in the diary and what I've sort of been meditating during this, it was a massive issue for me because I I just like I rushed it quite quickly. I did it. I had about 6 hours to do it, and that sounds fairly long, but equally it's not. Like if you've ever edited something and you know what I mean, like 6 hours isn't a lot at all. It will go quickly. And, when you have to film things in between as well, like it goes very quickly. Um, so yeah, the editing was going all right. It could, like I said before, it could have been better, but it was like I was happy with how it was. I wanted more, but I knew I would get it, so I just sort of had to accept as to what I had, and that's again due to my fault and like timing wise wasn't great. But yeah, so with editing towards the end, I don't know what happened because something happened to one of the clips where it corrupted and wouldn't like work. And I don't even know how to explain it properly because I still don't actually understand what happened myself. And I've emailed my tutor and he said, yeah, we'll try to sort it out. Because he thinks he knows what's happened, but I genuinely have no idea. So editing it was okay, but then when it came to trying to export it, it wouldn't export. And then me and some level 3 student, like we were trying to understand as to what was going on, but we just couldn't. And then he was like, okay, right, what we'll do is we'll take it and put it onto another computer because that might be the case. We'll put it onto a different Mac and then load it up there. And then when I did, all the clips basically, there are probably about 3 clips there that would play. Everything else just wouldn't play, and it came up with the red thing saying your clip's not here. But the issue is that it was all still in the on the hard drive that I put in, which was weird because the footage was there, it just wasn't recognizing that it was there. And I did the locate thing, like yeah, okay, here's the footage. I just wouldn't register it. And it was really frustrating because then I was like, okay, well, I don't now have a film to film. I don't have anything, to show. I say film as a documentary, but you know what I mean. I didn't have anything there, like any proof. So you sort of just gonna have to go off from what I'm saying, basically. But yeah, it was such a mess. It was really like irritating to deal with, and just like I was probably there for about an hour trying to get it sorted. But then obviously we didn't. So I just sent the email saying, look, I don't know what's happened, and I sent him pictures of what was going on. Um, and yeah, you'll see the pictures below. That's what the area was showing, and you'll also see another picture there of the full film edited. And you'll also see a brief clip of the actual documentary before it corrupted, before it went shocking, basically. But yeah, overall, I'm really sorry this has dragged on for 23 minutes. It's long. Um, Overall, the documentary, like as a project, was good. Like it was enjoyable, but it could have been more enjoyable if I managed time properly, and that was really the main downfall of this project. Like with time situation, I did so poorly trying to like lay everything out, and I should have done that better. And I knew from the start that I'd have to do good on it, but then I just didn't follow through with it. Um, but yeah, I think that's really the next thing that I'll plan to do for next project. Hopefully, I'll make it onto level 3 media, and that would be like the main goal. Make it, give myself the time that I need instead of leaving it all to the last few days and just panicking and stressing. Um, yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. Considering the time that I gave myself. It could, like I said, it could have been better, but that's a fault that I've made a mistake and that I will have to learn from next time. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm sorry it's been 25 minutes. Hopefully I haven't been boring you too much. This is why I sort of wanted to make it a video rather than writing, because can you imagine all of this up in writing? No, thank you. Um, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the background music as well. We've had some absolute bangers. And yeah, cool. Right, have a nice day. Enjoy doing what you're doing. I should have told you to like bring some popcorn at the beginning of this because that would have been so much more interesting. You could have actually enjoyed this. But yeah, cool. All right. Thank you.